Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal, Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. I know the NHL offseason has been buzzing with rumors, trades, and speculation, but this latest bit of news is truly something that could have ripple effects across the league, and especially for the Canadiens. We've been following the whispers about potential deals involving some of Montreal's key players, and now, new information suggests that a trade involving Jordan Kyrou might have been on the table, with the Blues demanding quite a hefty price. Yes, you heard that right. There was serious discussion about acquiring Kyrou, a talented winger from St. Louis, who's been making waves over the past few seasons. But before we get into the details, let's set the scene a bit. The Canadiens, under Kent Hughes, have been aggressively reshaping their roster, aiming for that playoff push that fans have been dreaming about for a while now. And while they did succeed in bringing Noah Dobson into the fold, it looks like they almost went for another big name, Jordan Kyrou. What's really intriguing here is the reported demand from the Blues. From the rumors circulating, it seems that St. Louis was asking for a package that included some of Montreal's promising young talent, potentially Gould, Mailloux, or Bolduc, in exchange for Kyrou. Now I want to emphasize this is still just a rumor, and nothing has been officially confirmed by either team. But the sources, including some well-informed insiders, suggest that these discussions did happen. And from what we hear, the Canadiens were close but ultimately decided to hold back, avoiding a blockbuster deal that could have reshaped their core. The specific demand from the Blues, according to reports, was that Montreal would need to part ways with Gould if they wanted to land Kyrou. That's a significant price for a player like Gould, who's shown a lot of promise and could be a cornerstone for Montreal's future. But this also raises some interesting questions about the Canadiens' strategy. Did they consider it seriously? Would they have gone through with it if the price was right? It seems that Kent Hughes and his management team were weighing their options carefully, and in the end, they decided to pass, which might be one of the smarter moves in this offseason. Now, why did they decide against it? Well, for starters, Kyrou is a very talented winger, 27 years old, standing at 6'1", and weighing around 196 pounds. He's been a consistent point producer for the Blues, with 332 points in 416 NHL games, an impressive stat line. Last season, he posted 70 points in 82 games, showing just how reliable he can be offensively. And he's under a solid contract, earning around $125 million annually through 2031. That's a hefty cap hit, but for a player of his caliber, it's actually quite reasonable in today's NHL landscape. So, the Canadiens would have been acquiring a proven scorer who can make an immediate impact. But what about the cost? Well, from the rumors, it's clear that the Blues were asking for a package that included some of Montreal's top prospects. Gould, for instance, is seen by many as a future top-4 defenseman with leadership qualities and solid two-way game. Losing him would be a big hit, but that's the kind of price teams sometimes pay for a player like Kyrou. It's a delicate balancing act. How much are you willing to give up for immediate success versus building for the future? And in this case, it seems Montreal decided that Gould and the other prospects weren't worth parting with for Kyrou. That might have been a smart move, especially considering how much the Canadiens are still developing their core. Now, let's talk a bit about the broader picture. The Canadiens are in a kind of rebuild mode, but they're also trying to stay competitive in a tough division. The Atlantic Division is stacked, with teams like Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto all vying for supremacy. Adding a player like Kyrou could have given them an immediate boost, especially on the wing, where they've been looking for consistent scoring. But at what cost? Montreal has some promising young defensemen like Gould and Mailloux, and they're still figuring out their identity. Still, landing Kyrou would have signaled a shift towards more aggressive, win-now moves. What's also interesting is how this rumor ties into the larger trend of the NHL offseason. Teams are clearly trying to find that perfect balance between youth and experience, between future assets and immediate impact. The Canadiens seem to be walking that line carefully. They're looking to develop their young talent, but they're also not afraid to make bold moves if the price is right. And in this case, it seems they decided that Gould, and possibly other prospects, are too valuable to part with for a player like Kyrou. Now, I want to highlight that this isn't just idle speculation. The whispers are coming from sources that have proven to be reliable in the past, and it's no secret that the Canadiens have been actively exploring trade options to strengthen their roster. Whether or not they'll go back to the table with the Blues or other teams remains to be seen, but the fact that discussions nearly materialized shows how serious Montreal is about improving quickly. They're not just sitting back and waiting, they're actively looking for ways to add talent, whether through trades, free agency, or internal development. And let's not forget, the offseason is still unfolding. There's plenty of time for more moves, more rumors, and perhaps even surprises. The Canadiens are in a unique position. They have a good mix of young prospects, experienced players, and cap space to maneuver. The decision not to go all in on Kyrou at this point could be a sign that they're prioritizing long-term stability over short-term gains. That's a strategy many fans can respect, especially when you consider how quickly a team can go from contenders to rebuilding if they make the wrong move. Looking ahead, the Canadiens will likely continue to explore ways to bolster their lineup. Whether it's adding more scoring depth, shoring up their defense, or finding the right balance on their roster, they're clearly aiming for a competitive team that can contend in the playoffs. Fans should be excited about the potential of this core, especially with players like Nick Suzuki leading the charge and promising prospects coming up through the ranks. And what about the other side of the coin? The Blues, on the other hand, might be looking to rebuild or retool their roster around other key players. Trading Kyrou would have been a statement move, and the fact that they reportedly asked for Gould shows they're not just looking for prospects. They want players who can make an immediate impact or fit into their long-term plans. It's a game of chess out there, and right now, Montreal's management made a calculated decision to hold back, which could turn out to be a smart move down the line. So, to sum it all up, the story of the potential Kyrou deal is a fascinating glimpse into the inner workings of NHL trade negotiations. It shows how close the Canadiens came to making a significant move, how high the stakes are, and how smart management decisions can shape the future of a franchise. Whether or not they revisit this deal remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. Montreal is not afraid to explore big opportunities, and their focus on building a competitive, sustainable team is evident. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Would you have been okay with parting ways with Gould or Mailloux for a player like Kyrou? Do you think the Canadiens made the right call by holding back? Or do you wish they had gone all in for that immediate upgrade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Remember, this is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting offseason, and I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep the Canadiens' spirit alive until the puck drops again. Thanks for being here, and as always, go Habs.